Our next special thanks to a loyal and longtime supporter of the Green Building Festival, Enbridge Gas Distribution. I'd like to invite Abbas Chagani, Business Development Program Manager from Enbridge, to come up to the stage and say a few words before I introduce our first panel discussion. Abbas?
Well, let's make sure this is perfect. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Abbas Chagani. I work in the Business Development Group at Ambridge, and today I have the pleasure to speak to you about renewable natural gas. So, in the time I have today, I want to get a few points across. The first being, what is renewable natural gas? And to most of you, it may seem counterintuitive about a renewable fossil fuel. To some, it may actually seem a bit perverse. So I'd like to clarify that. The second, what is Enbridge's role in the RNG market? And thirdly, what does RNG mean for green buildings and net zero facilities? So just a little bit about Enbridge. Enbridge delivers 37% of Ontario's total energy each year. We have 3.7 million customers, and we also dabble in the renewable electricity space. And when I mean dabble may be an understatement, we have about 490 megawatts of in-service capacity. So just to look at natural gas versus electricity. Natural gas represents twice as much energy in the province on an annual basis. And the peak day is about 3 to 5 times as much as the electric peak. So what does this mean? This means that 270 terawatt hours of energy is being delivered through existing infrastructure. Infrastructure that has existed for decades, and most of which is depreciated. So maybe we can rethink, or to build on Vivian's theme, we can rethink existing infrastructure and use it in different ways. So energy conservation, I just wanted to take a minute and talk about energy conservation. Many of you are familiar with our energy conservation programs. Savings by Design is one of the key programs that you would be familiar with. We also have our residential, commercial, and industrial DSM programs. Those have been very successful over the years. And this energy conservation is a great segment to renewable natural gas. Energy conservation is the first step to reducing GHGs. It is the cheapest and easiest way. And when we looked at that building, the rethinking of that building in Edmonton, in Vivian's presentation, we saw how you can take existing infrastructure and make it renewable in today's standard. So energy conservation is the first step. The second step is where RNG comes in, and that is changing the fuel you are using. So what is RNG? Renewable natural gas is very similar to conventional natural gas. It has the same physical and chemical components as conventional natural gas. So how does this work? So let's take a step back. What is conventional natural gas? Conventional natural gas is fossil fuels that are derived from organics that have been buried for thousands of years. Some people call them dinosaur bones. But it's really organics, trees, vegetation that existed thousands of years ago that have been buried, and in the absence of oxygen, they have turned into methane. We use different technologies to extract the methane out of the ground. We ship it across the country. We deliver it to Enbridge. Enbridge then delivers it to our homes. So how can we rethink this? What if we use the organics that exist today? Human waste organics. What's human waste? Landfill waste. Wastewater treatment. Anaerobic digestion. Anaerobic digestion is green bin waste collected. And what if we harness the methane that exists in today's organics and repurpose that and channel it into our natural gas distribution system? Well, that's renewable natural gas. So currently, landfills, wastewater treatment plants, and anaerobic digesters flare most of the gas that is extracted out of their systems. So that gas is being either vented or flared into the atmosphere. So now if we take it, we displace fossil fuels that have to be extracted out of the ground, and we prevent the flaring of those gases. That's what renewable natural gas is. Now the key thing where Ambridge comes in is we have existing infrastructure. We have thousands and thousands of kilometers of pipelines that exist right now. Most of them are very close to the anaerobic digesters, the landfills, and the wastewater treatment plants. So it's very easy for us to take that renewable natural gas and pump it into the existing system. Cost. Cost is king. How much does it cost? Well, renewable natural gas typically costs 2 to 4 times more than conventional natural gas. And part of that is because conventional natural gas, with the shale revolution, is very cheap. But when we compare it to electricity, we're still 20 to 30% cheaper than electricity. And so it actually bridges that gap. If someone was to think about changing their furnace to an electric furnace, they'd be much better off using their existing furnace and fueling it with renewable natural gas. And when we think of sustainable buildings, we have boilers, we have industrial facilities, all of them currently run on natural gas. And all of them can use renewable natural gas because it has the same physical and chemical components to conventional natural gas. There has to be no change in infrastructure to use renewable natural gas. So what's the potential? So this graph shows that just by conservation and changing the fuel in our pipelines, in the next 20 years we can get a 40% reduction in GHGs. Some of these technologies exist, like renewable natural gas currently exists, and others are more conceptual, like solar fuels. And conservation, as you know, is something that existed for the last 20 years, and it's been key to getting us to where we are. So, for my last slide, I just want to talk about renewable natural gas and Enbridge's successes to date. Some of you may have thought that I was talking about conceptual concepts. Well, so far we've partnered with the City of Toronto to build one of the first RNG facilities in Ontario. That is going to be at the Dufferin Organic site. So many of you live in Toronto and put your waste into green bins. That will be channeled into renewable natural gas, and it will be fueling your homes sometime late next year. So that's the first project. We have 3 additional projects on the go that we're expecting to be in service in late 2019, early 2020. So this is very much a reality, and it's going to be happening very soon. And lastly, Enbridge Gas Distribution is a regulated company. So we currently have an application with the Ontario Energy Board. We filed our final argument on September 11th, and we expect a decision by the end of the year. Thank you very much for your time today, and I'll address any questions.